Okay, so today we're learning about trophic levels or energy levels. Trophic, sorry. They're trophic levels or their energy levels. They come in threes, as you can see here. I kind of already set this up to save a little bit of time. They come in primary, which is your big level here. This is where most of your energy is stored. This is where your producers hang out. Your producers are the only animals that produce their own food. That's why they're called producers. So, like grass, algae, and some mushrooms. Some mushrooms are also decomposers that come in at the end after all the animals eat and decay the rest of the food, so they can be placed in both depending on the type of mushroom or how they're being used. In the food chain or food web, your secondary are your herbivores. They eat the producers. Sometimes it's algae, sometimes it's mushrooms, sometimes it's grass, like I said. So your secondary producers can be algae-eating fish and marine life, rabbits, deer, cows, anything that eats plants. Basically is a secondary level animal. They are called consumers. They can be primary consumers or they can be secondary consumers. If they're eating the grass from another animal that ate the grass, essentially. So those are carnivores, they eat meat, or herbivores that eat grass, or omnivores that eat both. Your tertiary is where your apex predators hang out. Your apex predators are the big guys that don't really get eaten by much. There's not much going on up here because they're at the top of their food chain. So you've got like wolves and coyotes that don't get eaten by much, or bears, some birds that scavenge for their food also can hang out here. So the big deal with energy pyramids is you start with a whole lot of energy down here at the bottom with the primary people. Then as you go up, you lose 10% of your energy via heat and or waste. So as you get up here, they're not taking in very much energy because most of the energy is put out through heat and waste from down here. So there's a formula for this. You take the actual amount, divide it by the amount the next animal gets, and then times it by 100, and that'll give you your how much energy gets lost between them. But you guys really don't have to worry about that till later. We're not really going to work with problems like that today. I just wanted to work on food webs and food chains. So we're going to go up a little bit here, and I have a food web made out in the food chain. So we're going to start with the food chain part. So we're going to start over here with a producer. A producer, we're going to go with grass, let's say. Sorry, I had to fix the caps lock. My laptop doesn't tell me when it's on. Okay. So we're going with grass. So grass is our primary producer. Then what eats grass? Let's go with your primary consumer. Is deer. Then your secondary consumer that eats your deer. Let's go with a wolf. Wolves like deer, and we have wolves here. So let's go with wolves. So, for this food chain, there's 3 parts. Your producer, grass, that gets its energy from the sun via photosynthesis. Your next primary consumer is your deer. It eats the grass. So there's a 10% energy loss going on here. Okay? Then secondary consumers is your wolf. It eats your deer. There's another 10% energy loss from the deer's energy to the wolf's energy. And your wolf is at the top of his food chain here. So he would be your tertiary. Your deer would be your secondary. And then, of course, your grass is your producer at primary over here. Now let's move on to a food web. Because a food chain takes in the interworkings of one populated little bitty ecosystem and how they eat. A food web takes in more than one population as they coexist in an ecosystem and fight for food and competition and habitats, space, and all of that. So let's add in our food web element. So what else eats grass besides a deer? Let's go with rabbit. So your primary consumer would be a rabbit in this case. And I'll draw arrows here in a minute to show you how this works. But a primary consumer of grass, so we're going down here, would be rabbit. So what eats a rabbit? Let's go with a coyote. Coyotes eat rabbits. So your secondary, tertiary consumer in this case is a coyote, or a coyote as we call them around here. So there's a 10% energy loss between here, and here. So now let's see how they interlock as one big happy family over here. So I'm going to grab some arrows and we're going to go, these go together here. There's a 10% energy loss here. There is also a 10% energy loss when you go here. That kind of blended in, but you can see the line. Okay, that's your food chain. Now let's connect our food web to our food chain. So I'm going to grab some more arrows. So we're going to go grass goes down to rabbit over here. So the 10% loss here. Then there's a 10% loss here as the rabbit gets eaten by your coyote. Your deer here would also get eaten by this coyote. and your wolf. I'm gonna grab another arrow. Sorry, guys. Your wolf over here would also eat your rabbit. Sorry, I grabbed the wrong arrow. Hang on. So that also goes there. Sorry, I kind of overlapped my arrows, but you get the point. So that goes there. So it's going up towards your wolf there, because wolves do eat rabbits. Sorry, it's so poorly drawn out, but I don't have very much space. And that is your food web. So I'm going to go over it more in our presentation, but that is a rough go at a food web and a food chain, which would be right here. Your food web is the whole entire thing, and as well as your energy pyramid down here. So the important thing to remember is producers are on the bottom, consumers are in the middle, and then your apex top guy is at the top. And there's a 10% energy loss each go. So primary you lose 10, secondary you lose 10, tertiary you lose 10, so you don't have very much left over. Okay, thank you guys.